of our YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another Rumour Has It video where we're talking about players linked to the football club over the summer transfer window. It's already been really busy. Sandro Tonali is in the bag. Hopefully will be announced soon if he hasn't been announced already. By the time you watch this video, hopefully he has done. Who knows? You can't check Twitter anymore because you may not read 600 tweets. Never mind, we'll get into that. But yeah, we're talking about other players linked to the club. Another midfielder here who has been linked, and given the fact that we've missed out on a couple of targets, one of them being Dominic Szoboszlai at Liverpool, could possibly open the door for a move for this lad. We're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Very excited if this one can come off. So I think he's a hell of a player. But just before we do, a little reminder, if you're new to the channel, you're just checking us out for the first time, hello to you and welcome on board. Click subscribe, hang around a bit longer, why don't you? 4,000 if you have, we really appreciate that. The channel's less than 2 years old, so we've had an unbelievable uptake in subs, certainly over the last 7-8 months. So massive thank you to everybody who's done that. But loads more room for you if you're just watching for the first time. Click that button, come and join us. Loads of quality Newcastle chats and stats. A little bit of a live show on a Monday. That's always a bit of fun as well. And the odd rant if something pisses me off as well in the footballing world, whether it be Newcastle or not. So come and join us. You won't regret it. So let's get stuck in. Who am I talking about? Yes, I'm talking about this beast, the monster with the dreadlocks that is Khéphren Thuram, who is, yes, that name is familiar. He's one of Lilian Thuram's sons, Marcus Thuram's brother, plays for Nice, box-to-box midfielder, absolute monster of a player. Built like a defensive midfielder, but glides like a winger. Try that on for size. What an unbelievable footballer. You talk about players that's Premier League ready. This kid is 100% Premier League ready. You watch his highlight reel, guys are bouncing off and trying to get the ball off. And very similar, actually, to when Joe gets with the ball and runs with it as well. Players just can't seem to deal with him. So this is a real interesting comparison marks on the radar grid. But just looking a little bit of information about Thuram. He's 22 years old. Got him versus Joe there. So he's got 4 years on Joe and kind of 3, I think, on Bruno as well. So the perfect age really for us to bring in. Now, the reported fee that Nice are looking for is just over 35 million quid. Now, Liverpool and old Clippity Klopp, Turkish Teeth himself, has already moaned about how they don't have the money to compete with the super clubs. But it looks like they're about to activate the Dominic Szoboszlai deal. I think that's pretty much done that for 70 million euro. So they'll be tapped out for the summer. They've already signed McAllister as well. So in terms of midfielders, they're set. They've spent, the thick end of probably I think nearly 100 million quid or 90 million quid on those two midfielders alone. So I can't see Khéphren Thuram being another target for them. So that might open the door for Newcastle United to possibly press on with him as a target for us. And this kid can do it all really in midfield. Before we get into his stats, just to give you a little bit of a guidance as to where he has played for Nice. So these are his games overall. So 61 of his games he's played as defensive midfield, which is unbelievable because that gives you a nice little bit of variety to move players around. 48 of his games he's played in central midfield, 5 as a left winger. 1 as a left winger, 1 as a left midfielder. So he's got 6 goals in defensive midfield and 7 assists from defensive midfielders. Is incredible. When he was central, he was a little bit further up, 1 goal and 4 assists. So he really is a quality player. There's no doubt about that. He can do it all. He can play all over the park. And at 22 years old, he's got a whole career ahead of him, and we know Eddie Howe makes players better. So if you get a player that good now, what could Eddie Howe do with him? And if you were to sign him, look at the flexibility you'd have in midfield between Tonali, Bruno, him, and Joe Linton. You could push Joe Linton out to the left-hand side. You could push Thuram out to the left-hand side and play Joe in the middle. Yes, we've got Joe Willock there too as well. So it just gives you a lot more options, certainly with the likes of Champions League thrown into the mix, a melting pot of domestic football, the Premier League and the Cups as well. So I think this would be a brilliant signing for Newcastle if they can get this over the line for 35 to 40 million quid. I think this would probably represent better business than a James Maddison or even a Szoboszlai deal, possibly because this lad can play in multitude of positions. So I think this could be really, really smart bit of business for Newcastle. So let's have a look at the stats and just compare. So 46 appearances last season, real consistency in his fitness there. 39 of those were 90 minutes, so very comparable to Joe. 2 goals versus Joe's 8 and 7 assists versus Joe's 2. So Joe gets a more goal scoring opportunities probably than Thuram does, as he's played so much as a defensive midfielder, whereas Joe's got a bit more license to push up into that front 3 as well. In some games, he's pretty much been a wide left attacker. So, there's no doubt he's going to get more goal scoring opportunities than that. But passes per game, you can see Thuram's on 47 versus Joe's 42, 85% passing completion. So he doesn't waste the ball at all. And Joe's done brilliant on the ball as well this year. Progressive passes 4.52, so he's comparable with Joe. Key passing 1.27, passes into the attacking third, bit higher than Joe there, 3.78, which is fantastic to see. He's great at carrying the ball as well, Thuram. He just seems to get the ball deep and just runs, and he's jinking in between players, and he's shoving players off, and they're pulling the shirt. They can't get him because he's so strong and big and fast. like I say, he's just tailor-made for the Premier League, really there. In terms of shot creation chances, nearly 3 a game, assists 0.4, tackles 1.80, interceptions 1.34, and recoveries 5.16. So good stats there from a player who generally plays as a defensive midfield and kind of rotates into a midfield area as well in terms of a further attacking midfielder. But he's more box to box, I would say. Play deep, lie deep, get the ball and push on, and maybe have a Tonali or Bruno drop in as he goes. I think it could be perfect for us. But looking at the red, amber, greens, you can see the pass completion 70%, very good. Long pass completed isn't particularly great, but I think he likes to run with the ball a bit better. So that's probably why that stat is low. Medium passes and short passes around about 57 percentile. Through balls at 66. Final third passes a little bit lower there at 43. So I think he pops it off maybe to a winger or kind of at the edge of the box, or at the edge of the half before he drops back in. But the big bit, like I say, there is the progressive carries, 94 percentile, and his expected assists is 83 percentile, and his assists are actually 75, shots are 73. So he's very, very good at getting the ball up the park from a deep line position, and that's brilliant for us because really Joe Willock is the best player that we have for that, and arguably Isak as well when he gets the ball, but Willock is the main midfield carrier, and I think to have another player of that magnitude, and Sean too as well, to be fair. Sean's not got the legs maybe Willock has, or the pace, but I think Thuram does have that, and I think him and Willock in that squad together could add you so much more quality, just getting the ball and pushing on when you're under the pressure a little bit and getting on the break and hitting teams on the break as well. So I think it could be a brilliant signing for that alone, really. You can see there the rest of the stats can look after themselves, really. Interception, 74th percentile, foul, 71st, sorry, 71 percentile. So a very good footballer for 22 years of age. I know the French league isn't the most competitive league, but he's played Champions League, he's played European football, he's played for France as well. And I think the kid's a fantastic footballer, and I think he's only going to get better and better. And I do think it's time for him maybe to move on to that next stage of his career. We might get lucky that Liverpool have potentially stole ahead of us in one of the targets, but we're also after this lad as well as Liverpool, where they can't have both. We couldn't have both. So this might open the door for us to sign Thuram. And I, for one, will be buzzing with that because I think he'll be a fantastic player who could cover a multitude of positions. And I think Eddie Howe would make him an even better footballer than he already is. He'd teach him to play that Newcastle United intensity where he already has a bit of that intensity in his game. But I think Howe would take his fitness levels probably up another level. And my God, what a player you could be looking at there. But let us know what you think in the comments below, whether you think Thuram would be a good addition to us. Do you think there's a little bit of truth in that? Do you think that Szoboszlai going to Liverpool may open the door for us to get the lad and get him to Newcastle United? But we'd love to hear from you. Smash a comment, and we always do our best to try and reply to you as much as we can. We're not a channel that ignores people. If you take the time to type, we try and take the time to reply as much as we can. And as I mentioned at the start, if you like this kind of thing, smash subscribe, come and join us. Loads of room for nevermore, loads of transfer banter and stats and chats flying around before the season kicks off, which won't be too far away actually. And a live show Monday as well at 10 o'clock for you to check out. So smash the button, come and join us, like the video as well, help get it around YouTube, help the channel grow even further. And we'll be back soon with some more Newcastle United banter. We'll see you soon, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.